My name is TLECXALY HERNANDEZ. I am interviewing Susanna OZSVATH for the Peak Preparatory Dallas Community Oral History Project at Ms. OZSVATH's house. Okay. So my first question is, when and where were you born?
I was born in Subotica, which is today a Yugoslavian town. It was originally a Hungarian town before 1919, but in 1919 a peace treaty was made between the Allies and those who fought against them, and the map of Europe had been changed, and that town got to Yugoslavia, to a new country that was called Yugoslavia, and is called still Yugoslavia, or no, that is not Serbia, that is Yugoslavia. No, I mean Serbia is the same, I mean it is in that part of the world, but it is Yugoslavia.
Okay. Where did you grow up through high school?
I lived in a town in Hungary called Békéscsaba. It is a town of, I think, 50 or 60,000 people. And then we moved to Budapest, which is the capital of Hungary. And we lived in Budapest, and there I started to go to high school.
What did you do after high school?
I was a pianist.
When and why did you move to Dallas?
We left Hungary after the Hungarian Revolution in 1956, and we went to study in Germany, and my husband had a job in Germany. He was a young PhD student, and then he got his PhD, and after that he was invited to the US, more precisely to Austin, the University of Texas at Austin, where he became a professor. And then from Austin we moved to Dallas to be a professor. He was a professor here. And in the meantime I got another PhD because I had before that a concert diploma in piano from Germany. And then I got a PhD also in Austin, in German literature.
Describe your life before the Holocaust began.
Like any other child, I lived until I was 10. And then the Germans came in. It is going to be 70 years ago in a few days, on the 19th of March. And by the way, I said high school because in Europe there's a completely different system from here. You don't go to high school at the age of 14, but you go to high school at the age of
10. So how did you first hear about the Germans?
I lived in Hungary, and the Germans were all over Europe. All of Europe was occupied already by the Germans. And so many people fled from them, came to Budapest. Hungary was not occupied until 1944. And so we knew, and everybody else knew what is happening. I mean, not in details and not about Auschwitz, but that the Jews are persecuted, that we knew. And anyway, we also were, to some degree, although not killed, but persecuted in Hungary way before the Germans came in. I think from 1938 on.
Well, what was your reaction when you heard about what the Germans were doing?
Come on, that's not a good question. You have to ask another question. What do you think what my reaction was? What would be your reaction when you heard that everybody else who is like you is being killed and separated from his mother and father, as any other child would feel.
Did you know anyone who was not Jewish who would protect Jewish families? If so, how would they help?
No. I mean, You mean after the war? Or what?
Like during the Holocaust.
I mean, we were helped by somebody who saved our lives.
Can you describe him?
Her. She was a nanny in our house, and we loved her very much, and when we moved from that town, Békéstava, to Budapest, she came with us, although she was not a nanny anymore, because I was quite grown and my brother was grown, but she came with us because she didn't want to live without us. She had parents in that town and brothers and sisters. Nonetheless, she came with us. She came to Budapest and she worked in a bicycle shop of our places, where that was half owned by my father. And so she lived in Budapest, and then when the Germans came in, she has saved our lives every day. If you would read my book, you would know it.
I don't really have the chance to. I was going to read it for the speaking break, but our teacher gave us a book that we have to read.
It is about her.
Okay, so do you have any fears that might have happened during the Holocaust that should happen today?
I mean, Jews have always been persecuted over the past 2,000 years. Mm-hmm. So there were mass killings of Jews throughout all those years, throughout the 2 millennia. So, of course, that is a not unusual thought, because, of course, I can imagine it. It's not in this country, and certainly not in this moment. So, but as of course.
Has a former Nazi ever tried to apologize to you for what they have done, like to the Jewish people?
To me?
No, to like the Jewish people.
I don't know.
Okay.
Many Germans, many Germans are very sorry for that, what happened, especially the new generations.
Well, have you ever heard of anyone who's tried to apologize, like maybe to a family member or to a friend of yours? No. Okay. Did you know anyone in your family that went to the concentration camps?
All my family except us, the 4 of us, because we lived in Budapest, and in Budapest the Jews were not deported. They were killed at the end, but not deported. And in the countryside they were all deported. So yes, my father's brothers and sisters, my mother's brothers and sisters, my cousins, everybody, yes.
Okay. Describe how the Holocaust had affected you and how it is still affecting you today, if it is still affecting you today.
Well, it has determined my life.
Like how? Can you describe how?
I mean, it is part of my life. It is as if it happened yesterday. I am teaching it, I am writing about it, I am writing books, I am studying it, I am researching it, I am teaching it. I mean, it is a major component of my life.
So right after the Holocaust, what did you do? Like once the Holocaust was over, what did you do? Did you stay where you were? Did you move?
Yeah, no, we stayed where we were. We stayed where we were, and the 4 of us stayed alive. And so life started out again as it was before, except that in 3 years the communists came along, and they started to do the same as what the Germans did.
Okay. Do you have like any medical situations that has been caused by the Holocaust? No. I'm sorry, my throat is kind of going away. Do you know anyone that has tried to pretend that the Holocaust never happened? No. Do you know anyone who has been affected terribly by the Holocaust? Like with mental problems or medical problems?
Many people.
Like, can you describe how they've been affected?
I mean, some of them committed suicide, some of them became psychological cripples for the rest of their lives. Some of them, I don't know, couldn't have children because their wombs were removed. I mean, of course, I mean, anybody. Have you learned about the Holocaust? Do you know what the Holocaust
Like,
was?
I've learned about it, but I was not concentrated to details about it.
Right, I mean, so you should really read some books about it so that you know what happened. I mean, of course, I mean, it had a crippling effect on everybody who was in it or who is connected with it.
Like, what are your thoughts about the Holocaust that you still think about today? Like, what do you think about when you hear the Holocaust?
I mean, I'm thinking about the events that have taken place, I'm thinking about the people who were killed, I'm thinking about the circumstances under which they were killed. What else can you think about? Is that
Okay, well, I think that's about my questions.
I mean, read night. I mean, which grade are you in?
I'm a junior.
Yeah, junior. You haven't read night?
No, my sister has. They gave it to them as summer reading, but to us they didn't.
Mm-mm.
They gave us another book, and I was actually excited to read about it, but
Right.
I never got the chance. No.
But you know, you said they gave you another.
No, they gave my sister.
You said they gave you another book.
Yeah, another.
What is the other book?
I think it was Chosen.
But it wasn't summer
Yeah.
reading. We read it during class.
Oh, well, there you go. And they didn't give us. Well, we had a teacher that really didn't. She didn't go. Like, we were supposed to read the book night, but she didn't go rapidly with other books. She took a really long period with certain books, so we never got the chance to read night.
Let's see. Okay.
Well, I think that's about it. That's all my questions that I have for you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for this interview. I'm sorry that we had to do it again.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
You're still not past 30 minutes.
How many minutes do I have?
You're 13.
That's fine.